So you and your family is thinking about moving to New York? In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 best Queens neighborhoods for families, and I'm getting after it right now. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about living in Queens, New York, then subscribe below. Tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market in Queens. My name is Cornell Smith with eXp Realty. We get calls and emails every day from people just like you looking for help on making the move to Queens, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call, shoot a text, or send us an email. All the information is in the description below so it can help you make a smooth move to Queens. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to be talking about the 5 best Queens neighborhoods for families. So a little overview about Queens. Queens is one of 5 New York City boroughs. Queens is the second most populous New York City borough. So in terms of New York City boroughs and population size, it's Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, the Bronx, and Staten Island. Queens is one of, if not the most diverse places in the United States and the world. So Queens is known as the world's borough. According to census data, about 47% of Queens residents were born outside of the United States. So that speaks to, show you how Queens is a melting pot of different cultures and diversity. So Queens location. To the east of Queens, you have Nassau County, Long Island, which you can consider a suburb of New York City. To the north of Queens, you have the New York City borough of the Bronx. To the southwest of Queens, you have the New York City borough of Brooklyn. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Technically, the New York City boroughs of Brooklyn and Queens are technically a part of Long Island. And to the west of Queens, you have the New York City borough of Manhattan, aka the city's what we New York City area residents call it. Queens is a great place for families. You have access to quite a lot of major highways and a lot of public transportation. Queens is home to many things to do, like, have shopping malls, museums, parks, arcades, bowling alleys, etc. Many things for the family, the kids and the entire family to enjoy. Being that Queens is one of the most, if not, diverse places in the world, your kiddos, your pickeens, your pickney, your youth them will learn to engage with, many different cultures and walks of life, and learn to, appreciate, diversity. As I said before, Queens does have a lot to offer for, the family. But if you, at times, you and the family want to venture out, you're not too far from places like I said before, like Nassau County, Long Island, the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Manhattan, if you want to venture out of Queens to, do family activities. So let me get into, the video. So here are your 5 best Queens neighborhoods for families. So at number 5, we have Rego Park. Rego Park is a neighborhood you could say that's in the central section of the New York City borough of Queens. Rego Park has a population of about 43,748 people. Rego Park is a New York City neighborhood, seen as one of the best places to live in New York State. Living in Rego Park offers a dense urban feel. There are a lot of bars, restaurants, coffee shops, and parks in Rego Park. Many young professionals, families, and retirees live in Rego Park. The public schools in Rego Park are above average. Depending on traffic and time of day, Rego Park is about a 30-minute drive away from Midtown Manhattan. It's about a 10-minute drive away from Citi Field, and it's about a 10-minute drive away from Flushing Meadows Corona Park. The median home value in Rego Park is $390,000. So your home options include co-ops, condos, single and multi-family homes. The cheapest available option being a $175,000 co-op, and the most expensive option being a $2.5 million one-family home. About 40% of Rego Park residents own their homes. The median household income in Rego Park is $83,098. According to niche.com, Rego Park is the 48th best New York City neighborhood to raise a family in out of 227 New York City neighborhoods. It's the 45th best overall New York City neighborhood to live in, and it's the 26th most diverse New York City neighborhood. For those with school-age children, Rego Park is a part of New York City District 28. So District 28 is the 183rd best New York State school district out of 672 New York State school districts. One public school elementary option you have for kids from kindergarten to 5th grade in the area is PS 174, the William Sidney Mount School. This is the 436th best New York State public elementary school out of 2,460 New York State public elementary schools. One, middle school option for kids from 6th to 9th grade, you have JHS 157, which is the 140th best New York State public middle school out of 1,341 New York State public middle schools. For high school, I believe New York City, high school age children have the option of going anywhere to high school for the most part, as long as they're accepted to, their desired schools. So if your child wants to stay in District 28 for high school, there's the Queens High School for Sciences at York College, which is in, the relatively nearby Jamaica. This is the 75th best public New York State high school out of 1,272 New York State public high schools. And Rego Park does also have a, library branch that's a part of the Queens Public Library. One park in Rego Park is the Painters Playground. This park includes, handball courts, playgrounds, and spray showers and sprinklers during the summer months. Hace frio in Nueva York right now. Sorry for that bad Spanish. Rego Park also isn't too far from the massive Forest Park in the nearby Forest Hills. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ball game. So if you and your family are baseball fans, Rego Park isn't too far from Citi Field where the Mets play. And right by Citi Field essentially is Flushing Meadows Corona Park, which is the largest park in Queens, actually larger than Central Park in Manhattan, I believe. And at Flushing Meadows Corona Park, you have things like, the Queens Museum of Art, the Queens Zoo, the New York Hall of Science, and many other things to do. In Rego Park, you also have the Rego Center, which is a 2-building shopping center, which includes stores like Old Navy, Costco, Petco, and Burlington. And not too far from Rego Park, you have Queens Center Mall and Elmhurst, which is the largest shopping mall in Queens. This is Rego Park. At number 4, we have Kew Gardens Hills. So Kew Gardens Hills is a neighborhood, you could say, that's in the central section of the New York City borough of Queens. Kew Gardens Hills has a population of about 34,457 people. Kew Gardens Hills is a New York City neighborhood. It's seen as one of the best places to live in New York State. Living in Kew Gardens Hills offers a dense urban feel. There are a lot of bars, restaurants, coffee shops, and parks in Kew Gardens Hills. Many young professionals and families live in Kew Gardens Hills, and the public schools in Kew Gardens Hills are above average. Depending on traffic and time of day, Kew Gardens Hills is about a 35-minute drive away from Midtown Manhattan. It's about a 10-minute drive away from Citi Field, and a 10-minute drive away from Flushing Meadows Corona Park. The median home value is $504,000. Your home options consist of co-ops, condos, single, and multi-family homes. The cheapest available option being a $225,000 co-op, and the most expensive option being a $1.5 million 3-family home. About 52% of Kew Gardens Hills residents own their home. The median household income in Kew Gardens Hills is $92,517. According to niche.com, Kew Gardens Hills is the 54th best New York City neighborhood to live in out of 227 New York City neighborhoods. It's the 47th best New York City neighborhood to raise a family in, and it's the 37th most diverse New York City neighborhood. Kew Gardens Hills is a part of New York City District 25. District 25 is the 153rd best New York State school district out of 672 New York State school districts. One public school option in the area for kids from pre-K to the 8th grade is PS 219, the Paul Clapper School. So this school is the 510th best New York State public elementary school out of 2,460 New York State public elementary schools, and it's the 221st best New York State public middle school out of 1,341 New York State public middle schools. High schools in Kew Gardens Hills include Townsend Harris High School, which is the 3rd best New York State public high school out of 1,272 New York State public high schools, and there's Robert F. Kennedy Community High School, which is the 335th best New York State public high school. In Kew Gardens Hills, there's also the CUNY City University of New York School, Queens College. According to Niche.com, Queens College is 190th best value college in the United States out of 1,482 United States colleges, and it's the 6th best New York State college for education out of 65 New York State colleges. My alma mater, class of 2015. People that attended or graduated from Queens College include real estate developer Gary Barnett, former WNBA president, former senior vice president of the PGA, current CEO of Orenda Unlimited, businesswoman Donna Orenda. I believe actor Adrian Brony attended QC for a semester, actress Fran Drescher, singer-songwriter Carole King, actor and comedian Ray Romano, comedian Jerry Seinfeld, Howie Rose, a sportscaster for the New York Mets and New York Islanders. At Queens College, there's also the Kupferberg Center for the Arts, which is home to the Colden Auditorium or Colden Center. The Colden Auditorium or Colden Center is a 2,085-seat concert hall, and it's the largest indoor venue space in Queens. People like Jerry Seinfeld, Trevor Noah, David Bowie, and Patti LaBelle performed at the Colden Center. Kew Gardens Hills does have quite a few, libraries. There's the Kew Gardens Hills branch with the Queens Public Library, and you also have access to the nearby Pominock branch of Queens Public Library. CUNY students, faculty, and staff with valid IDs and QC alumni with up-to-date QC alumni cards have access to the Benjamin S. Rosenthal Library on the Queens College campus. One park in Kew Gardens Hills is Casino Park. This park offers 200 plus acres of green space recreational activities, including hiking trails, baseball, soccer fields, and picnic areas. Kew Gardens Hills is also not too far from Flushing Meadows Corona Park, and not too far from Citi Field if you enjoy, watching the Mets play. In the nearby Flushing, you can go to the Queens Botanical Garden, which spans over 39 acres and includes a diverse array of plant life and walking trails. You can also go to Skyview Center Mall and explore all the eating options and shopping options that downtown Flushing has to offer. Not going to lie, many people have and continue to, including myself, consider Kew Gardens Hills as the Flushing neighborhood. Tangent, you can check out a bit of Flushing in my vlog. Check it out. This is Kew Gardens Hills. At number 3, we have Neponsit. So Neponsit is located on the western half of the Rockaway Peninsula, which is the southernmost area of the New York City borough of Queens. Neponsit has a population of about 2,000 people, making it one of, if not the smallest neighborhoods in Queens. Neponsit is a New York City neighborhood. Neponsit is seen as one of the best places to live in New York State. Living in Neponsit offers a dense suburban feel. There are a lot of restaurants, coffee shops, and parks in Neponsit. Many families and retirees live in Neponsit. The public schools in Neponsit are above average. Depending on traffic and time of day, Neponsit is about a 1 hour and 20-minute drive away from Midtown Manhattan. It's about a 45-minute drive away from Citi Field and a 45-minute drive away from Flushing Meadows Corona Park. The median home value in Neponsit is $1.1 million. Your home options are essentially single-family homes and some multi-family homes. The cheapest option being a $955,000 single-family home, and the most expensive option being a $1,949,000 one-family home. About 90% of Neponsit residents own their homes. The median household income in Neponsit is $152,589. According to Niche.com, Neponsit is the 72nd best New York City neighborhood to live in, and it's the 46th best New York City neighborhood to raise a family in out of 227 New York City neighborhoods. Neponsit is a part of New York City District 27. District 27 is the 271st best New York State school district out of 672 New York State school districts. One public elementary school option from pre-K to 5th grade is the Waterside Children's Studio School in the nearby Rego Park. This is the 682nd best New York State public elementary school out of 2,460 New York State public elementary schools. One option from 6th to 12th grade is Scholars Academy, also in Rockaway Park. This is the 59th best New York State public middle school out of 1,341 New York State public middle schools. And it's the 69th best New York State public high school out of 1,272 New York State public high schools. I don't think that Neponsit has a Queens Public Library branch. You could use the nearby Seaside Queens Public Library branch. Again, Neponsit is on the Rockaway Peninsula, aka the Rockaways. So the Rockaway Peninsula, the Rockaways, is technically a part of Queens, but it's, you know, an island essentially separated away from the mainland of Queens, so to speak. So the Rockaways, the Rockaway Peninsula, can be far from some places in Queens and Manhattan, but the plus is that there's many beaches on the Rockaway Peninsula, and you're sort of close to Brooklyn. Neponsit isn't too far from Jacob Riis Park. Jacob Riis Park has a beach and includes, you know, playgrounds, basketball courts, and picnic tables and areas. Neponsit also isn't too far from Rockaway Beach and Fort Tilden Beach in the Rockaways, and there's also a yacht club in the nearby Bell Harbor. Neponsit also isn't too far from Plum Beach, Manhattan Beach, Brighton Beach, and Coney Island Beach in Brooklyn. In Coney Island, you can also enjoy amusement park, Luna Park, on the Coney Island Beach Boardwalk. If you enjoy music, you know, you can go to the Coney Island Amphitheater, an outdoor music venue. Neponsit also isn't too far from Marine Park, Floyd Bennett Field, and the Gateway National Recreation Area Jamaica Bay Unit in Brooklyn. Though technically you could say the Gateway National Recreational Area extends from Sandy Hook in New Jersey to Breezy Point, which is on the Rockaway Peninsula in Queens. Though it's a bit of distance, it's not exceedingly far from the famous Brooklyn Bridge Park in Brooklyn. On a tangent, maybe I should have included Neponsit and some Rockaway Peninsula neighborhoods in the Don't Move to Brooklyn video. Check it out. This is Neponsit. At number 2, we have Little Neck. So Little Neck is a neighborhood you can say that's in the eastern or northeastern section of the New York City borough of Queens. You can say that Little Neck is on the Queens and Nassau County border. Little Neck borders the Nassau County community of Great Neck, which I did a vlog on. So Little Neck has a population of about 15,497 people. Little Neck is a New York City neighborhood. It's seen as one of the best places to live in New York State. Living in Little Neck offers an urban-suburban mixed feel. There are a lot of restaurants, coffee shops, and parks in Little Neck. Many families and retirees live in Little Neck. The public schools in Little Neck are above average. Depending on traffic and time of day, Little Neck can be a 50-minute drive away from Midtown Manhattan, about a 15-minute drive away from Citi Field, and about a 15-minute drive away from Flushing Meadows Corona Park. The median home value in Little Neck is $679,000. Your homing options consist of co-ops, condos, single-family homes, and some multi-family homes. The cheapest available option being a $159,000 co-op. The most expensive option being a $1.7 million one-family home. About 79% of Little Neck residents own their homes. The median household income in Little Neck is $110,614. According to Niche.com, Little Neck is the 46th best New York City neighborhood to live in out of 227 New York City neighborhoods, and it's the 40th best New York City neighborhood to raise a family in. Little Neck is a part of New York City District 26. District 26 is the 86th best New York State school district out of 672 New York State school districts. One public school elementary option, you know, for kids from pre-K to 5th grade, you have PS 98, the Douglaston School, which is in the nearby Douglaston. So this is the 99th best New York State public elementary school out of 2,460 New York State public elementary schools. I believe the area public school option for middle school kids grade 6 to 8 is JHS 67. the Lewis Pasteur School. This is the 44th best New York State public middle school out of 1,341 New York State public middle schools. I think that Little Neck age kids may be zoned to go to Benjamin N. Cardozo High School if they don't select to apply to, other schools. So Cardozo High School is the 258th best New York State public high school out of 1,272 New York State public high schools. And I forgot to mention that Cardozo is in the nearby Bayside neighborhood. People that attended Cardozo High School include former NBA players like Rafer Skip Tamalou Austin, Dwayne Coswell, Royal Ivy, track and field athlete Delilah Muhammad, wrestlers Lila Gray and Karen Yu, actors Ruchi Kota and Reginald Vell Johnson, and George Tenet, a former CIA director. So there's a few Queens Public Library branches in Little Neck area. You have the Douglaston Little Neck branch and the North Hills branch. I guess you can say partially in Little Neck, in Douglaston, and the nearby Bayside, you have Alley Pond Park. Alley Pond Park, being about 655 acres, is the second largest park in Queens after Flushing Meadows Corona Park, which I believe is about 898 acres. This massive park includes barbecue areas, hiking trails, nature centers, fishing, golf courses, basketball and handball courts, baseball, soccer, football fields, playgrounds, and dog-friendly areas. Alley Pond Park is also home to the Queens Giant, which is a 133.8-foot tree, which may be the oldest living tree and oldest living thing in New York City. The nearby Douglaston Park also features a golf course. There's also the Douglaston Club, which is a unique and private yacht, tennis, and pool club. I think that the Douglaston Yacht Squadron has a junior yachting program that teaches youngsters under 16 how to sail. In the nearby Floral Park, and I think it spans into Glen Oaks, there's a Queens County Farm Museum, a New York City landmark on the National Register of Historic Places. This dates back to 1697 and occupies New York City's largest remaining tract of undisturbed farmland. The farm is one of the longest continually farmed sites in New York State. This site includes historic farm buildings, a greenhouse complex, livestock, farming vehicles, and planting fields. A 47-acre historic site. Who said that New York City is just tall buildings and us pressed upon each other like, packed sardines? Little Neck isn't that far away from Flushing, so you have the option of going to, the aforementioned and continuously mentioned Flushing Meadows Corona Park. And you can go to Citi Field if you're a New York Mets fan or baseball fan. And also being on the Queens and Nassau border, Little Neck isn't too far from UBS Arena, which is where the, New York Islanders play if you're a fan of hockey. This is Little Neck. So at number 1, the best Queens neighborhood for families, we have Forest Hills. So Forest Hills is a neighborhood you could say that's in the central section of the New York City borough Queens. Forest Hills has a population of about 75,208 people. Forest Hills is a New York City neighborhood. Forest Hills is seen as one of the best places to live in New York State. Living in Forest Hills, I should say, offers a dense urban feel. There are a lot of bars, restaurants, coffee shops, and parks in Forest Hills. Many young professionals, families, and retirees live in Forest Hills. The public schools are above average in Forest Hills. Depending on traffic and time of day, Forest Hills is about a 30-minute drive away from Midtown Manhattan. It's about a 10-minute drive away from Citi Field and a 10-minute drive away from Flushing Meadows Corona Park. The median home value in Forest Hills is $420,000. You have options of co-ops, condos, single-family homes, some multi-family homes, and some mansions. The cheapest available option being a $129,000 co-op, and the most expensive option being a $5.3 million one-family home. About 53% of Forest Hills residents own their homes. The median household income in Forest Hills is $103,599, According to Niche.com, Forest Hills is the 49th best New York City neighborhood for young professionals out of 227 New York City neighborhoods. It's the 36th overall best New York City neighborhood to live in. It's the 23rd best New York City neighborhood to raise a family in. And it's the #1 Queens neighborhood to live in. Forest Hills, like Rego Park, is a part of New York City District 28. Again, District 28 is the 183rd best New York State school district out of 672 New York State school districts. One public elementary school option you have in Forest Hills for kids from pre-K to 5th grade. You have PS 303, the Academy for Excellence Through the Arts, which is the 168th best New York State public elementary school out of 2,460 New York State public elementary schools. One middle school option you have for kids grades 6 to 8. You have JHS 190, the Russell Sage School, which is the 151st best New York State public middle school out of 1,341 New York State public middle schools. One high school in Forest Hills is Forest Hills High School. This is the 252nd best New York State public high school out of 1,272 New York State public high schools. People that attend Forest Hills High School include NBA player Maurice Harkless, former NBA player and Washington Wizards GM Ernie Grunfeld, and sports announcer Ian Eagle. Art Garfunkel and Paul Simon, the folk rock duo Simon and Garfunkel. Dee Dee, Joey, Johnny, Tommy Ramone, members of the rock group The Ramones. Shock TV host and former Cincinnati Mayor Jerry Springer. Forest Hills does have a few, Queens Public Library branches. There's the Forest Hills branch and the North Forest Park branch in the neighborhood. One park in Forest Hills is Forest Park. So Forest Park is a massive 538-acre park, which includes things like barbecue areas, bicycling, greenways, fitness equipment, basketball, handball, tennis courts, baseball, soccer, football fields, model aircraft fields, dog-friendly areas, horseback riding trails, and golf courses. Forest Hills is also home to Forest Hills Stadium, which is an outdoor, music and entertainment venue. Forest Hills Stadium is also home to the Westside Tennis Club. The Westside Tennis Club provides training and game arranging for all levels of play. Forest Hills Stadium was once home of the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open is now currently held at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in the nearby Flushing, and I guess you could technically say it's a part of Flushing Meadows Corona Park. If you're a fan of tennis, the US Open is held in Flushing, which isn't too far from the aforementioned neighborhoods like Rego Park, Kew Gardens Hills, Little Neck, and now the neighborhood I'm talking about right now, Forest Hills. Forest Hills also isn't too far from, where the Mets play at Citi Field. Forest Hills is also home to New York City's oldest ice cream parlor, Eddie's Sweet Shop. Take the kiddos there, during a hot summer day. Also, you could check out my Forest Hills vlog to see a little bit of the neighborhood and some of your real estate options. This is Forest Hills. So there you have it. These are your 5 best Queens neighborhoods for families. It's Rego Park, Kew Gardens Hills, Neponsit, Little Neck, and Forest Hills. 3 of these neighborhoods are in the central section of Queens. Rego Park, Kew Gardens Hills, and Forest Hills. One neighborhood is in the, eastern or northeastern section of Queens, Little Neck. And one neighborhood is on the Rockaway Peninsula, the Rockaways, Neponsit. So I guess you could say that Central Queens, Eastern, Northeastern Queens, and the Rockaways may be for you and your family. Though I say Neponsit and the Rockaways in general is a bit distant and far from some places in Queens and New York City in general. Though if you live, in Neponsit or the Rockaways, it's like you live on your own little island, your own little world. That's a plus for some. A lot of beaches, on the Rockaway Peninsula and the Rockaways. So I talked about some of the schools in these areas, some parks, museums, and things to do in these neighborhoods and in surrounding nearby neighborhoods. Are you and your family sports fans? If so, Queens may not be a bad option for you. So as I kept saying throughout the video, that in Queens you have Citi Field and Flushing, which is home of the New York Mets. If you and the family, are fans of baseball, take me out to the ball game. So if you're a fan of the other team, some might say, depending on where you're at in Queens, you're not too far from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. If you're a fan of the New York Yankees, the Bronx Bombers. If you and the family are basketball fans or Brooklyn Net fans, depending on where you're at in Queens, you're not too far away from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Again, depending on where you're at in Queens, you may not be too far from Madison Square Garden, Manhattan, where if you're a hockey fan, you could check out the New York Rangers. And if you're a basketball fan, you could check out my favorite team, the New York Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. And depending on where you're at in Queens, you may not be too far from, UBS Arena in Elmont, where the New York Islanders play. UBS Arena is on the Queens and Nassau border. And if you and your family are music fans, these arenas and stadiums tend to have, music concerts and other events too. So yes, if this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about living in Queens, New York, then subscribe below. Tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market in Queens. My name is Cornell Smith with eXp Realty. We get calls and emails every day from people just like you looking for help on making the move to Queens, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All the information is in the description below so it can help you make a smooth move to Queens. So there you have it. This is my video about the 5 best Queens neighborhoods for families. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Peace.